In this video, we're going to be checking out a new offering from the folks over at DC Collectibles. This is the Batman versus the Joker Laff-Co Battle Statue. Sculpted by Jonathan Matthews, the ultimate battle of good against evil comes to life with the Batman vs. Joker Laff-Co Battle Statue. The Cape Crusader and the Clown Prince of Crime square off in the rooftop of this premium 13.5-inch tall poly resin statue sculpted by Jonathan Matthews. Limited to 5,000 pieces, this highly detailed statue captures an epic battle and features a Laff-Co environmental base. When you get the statue out of box, you get three parts. The main heaviest part being the bottom base that says Laff-Co. And you've got a couple of felt feet on the underside. Out of 5,000 limited release, this is artist print number 19. We'll go through a lot of the details of these, the actual component pieces in a second. I just want to show you how everything kind of comes out of the packaging. We've also got Batman. I did notice that the little spikes sticking out from his glove were this part right here was still in the box. I'm assuming it's just the. I'm assuming that the statues, when you do get them out of box, they're probably going to have this part of it. Mine just happened to be off. It was just a slot, so I pushed it in. I don't think I need glue. It seems to be staying perfectly fine in place. Batman's got a couple of pegs on the undersides of his feet, and when you are pegging him into place, you're pegging him on the up incline rather than the decline. And just want to slide Batman's first peg in. I always find it easier when you are putting statues together, instead of pushing them down, which can add friction and otherwise could break the pegs. It's easier actually just to get one or the longest peg in and kind of wiggle it back and forth until you've got the second, let me just show you what I'm doing here, until you got the second peg lined up into the hole, and then you can add a little bit of extra pressure just to kind of get that in place. Then you've got Batman's glove here, which I did notice had a crack. There's a crack right here. This part just has chipped right off, but really this is going to go into the Joker's chest anyways, so I'm not going to see that. That doesn't bother me too much. Then you've got Joker, the secondary character of this two statue diorama. You can see that there's a hole going right through his chest, right there, and there's that hole. So you're going to take Joker, and it may seem when you're putting him in that the angle has to be like slightly on an angle. So when you are putting him in, don't kind of put him in this way. You might want to actually put him out this way. So his foot, his slipper, for example, is on the outside of Batman's glove rather than the inside, and that might give you a better idea of what angle you have to put this in at. Once you get that angle in place, it slides into place. And that one part, that one area that was broken on Batman's glove doesn't seem visible at all now that I've got everything put together. And there is the statue once everything has come together. Now that the statue is put together, I figured it's easier to keep it on the turntable just so I can spin this around and show you guys some of the close-up details. Why don't we start first with the base, and then we'll work our way up. So the base depicts the Laff-Co rooftop here. I do like that the Laff-Co looks like it's illuminated, almost like a neon sort of sign. It does stick out from the otherwise flat, riveted metal top area of the rooftop here. You've got rivets running all around the outer parameter, as well as rivets running all along the top and around the side area here. The symbols represented the Laff Company, the spade, the hearts, the club, and the diamond. Both that as well as the metal is given this kind of dripping, rusted look to it, giving a look of a sense of age, and I really do like that quite a bit. Judging by the name Arkham across his orange pants, and for the fact that Joker's wearing a straitjacket, I'm going to assume he's broken free and broken out of Arkham Asylum, in which the Caped Crusader has met him on top of the Laff Company, grabbing him in his grasp as Joker flails his way about here. Batman, they kept his outfit relatively clean, actually. Most of the dirt and debris seems more on Joker than anything else. Batman is sporting more of the gray outfit with his black logo, as well as black boots and cape and cowl. I think based on the ears and the fact that the ears are shorter, he kind of resonates a little bit more to me like the Dark Knight Returns Batman, or something similar to what we're getting now with Ben Affleck's Batman. A lot of the statue has some great flow to it, especially Batman. I really like the look of Batman and the way that they've got his cape sculpted here. Kind of folds in on itself, and then you can kind of see the underneath, the under area of the cape kind of flowing outward. It's got a nice, interesting twist to it, which you wouldn't normally get with Batman's cape. Something I normally don't do, but I'm going to grab this camera gorilla style just to show you Batman's close-up face here. Because of the angle in which Batman is holding Joker, it's probably easiest to do this with the camera just in my hand. Love the sculpting of Batman's face, the slight grimace that he's got in his mouth, the very strong looking chin. It's got some excellent coloring in there as well. You instead of getting black, you get a slightly more reddish sort of coloring in the wrinkled areas. Batman's definitely got a more angrier expression also in his cowl here. Again, Batman kept to his shorter ears, something that we're getting with the Ben Affleck design of Batman here. Very white eyes, you don't see any of his pupils. I'm very surprised actually that they didn't add any sort of additional washing to it. They could have probably gone in there with some blue, but I'm actually happier that they didn't, instead just keeping it as bare basics as they possibly could, keeping very dark blacks, not muting the blacks or kind of taking away from them by adding additional blues or grays or anything like highlights. I'm glad they actually kept it as very black as they possibly could here. Batman's torso here, very muscular. He's got the abs and, of course, more simplified bat logo. The ribcage sculpted in there as well. Going back to the coloring, but the only thing that seems of additional color is his utility belt. It's got the yellow, but then it looks like there's a secondary, almost darker orange that's been washed over top of it. Much more, obviously, here in the front buckle, which gets that much darker coloring. And spin it around there, you can see really like all the panels here have been giving it that kind of gold wash happening to it, so you can see the little wrinkles and stuff in the pockets. A little bit more of what I was talking about here. The utility belt is very simple in its design. Larger pouches. I don't see any smaller pouches containing gas capsules or anything like that, so they've kept it very more realistic looking utility belt. They've also left off any sort of bat emblem on the front buckle here. All in all, I think Batman is a starting point here for this statue, but it doesn't stop necessarily with Batman. Of course, we're going to have a look at the details on Joker, and they are awesome. And what better place to start than Joker's face here? It's got a more, well, he's got a more traditional classic design to him. The longer, almost coif hairstyle that he's got. The coloring on his hair is not very bright at all. It's actually more of a darker, almost forest green or army green, so to speak. His face sculpt is glorious. I love the head sculpt here on Joker. Big sinister eyebrows seeming to stretch across his forehead here. It also looks as if he's got his tongue slightly sticking out there, almost baiting and teasing Batman as he's trying to capture him. Not only have they given a slight, almost pinkish tint to the Joker's face, it looks almost as if he's also got some blood splattered across his face area here. His teeth normally would be yellow, but instead they favored giving him white teeth. And his eyes also are outlined in the pink outlining there. It's really a nice looking head sculpt on Joker, and I'm glad that it went more the classic design Joker instead of something that maybe we would see nowadays. There definitely does seem to be a lot of blood splattered across Joker's torso here. One arm is still imprisoned by the strappings of his straitjacket, while the other hand is freely loose to kind of wander and flip around. The trench coat is very dirty, starting what looked to be maybe potentially white, but eventually yellowing itself. I can only imagine the levels of stains. You can see here too, like it looks like it's slightly more yellowed in this area. It could be sweat, it could be blood. And I really love the flow and the sculpting here especially, where you can make out not only Joker's knuckles, but you can also make out his fingers as he's pulling his way or trying to release himself from these strappings here. Quite literally, on the other hand, his other hand is freed from the confines of his straps. Speaking of straps, though, I want to bring your attention to this one strap here. Now, what I try to do over the course of reviewing the statues here, I always try to point out areas in which you would have to be careful of if you ever get this for yourself. This one strap here that comes out from his sleeve, of course, wraps its way around in a very dynamic sort of flow to it, but ultimately what ends up meaning it too is it's very, very thin. So be careful of this, and immediately when you get this out of the packaging, make sure that this hasn't split or hasn't cracked at all. At the very least, I would imagine this would be the one thing that would break on the statue if something was to break. One of my favorite touches on the statue too is that they've dirtied up not only the slippers that Joker is wearing, but also his feet. And they've painted it in such a way too that it lines itself up with what his natural footprint would be. Again, Joker probably has been fleeing by foot for obvious reasons, and Batman has been in pursuit. And it would make sense that things such as his feet, as well as his slippers, would be heavily soiled in the process. The takeaway that I get from this statue is that it's got an amazing level of flow to it. It's got some real, like, movement happening to it. You would imagine that Joker's been running the majority of the night, as indicated by the level of dirt all over him. Batman's finally caught him atop of the Laff-Co and is apprehending the Clown Prince of Crime. But Joker's probably not going to go easily, and Batman looks like he's about to swing back and deliver a final blow to Joker's face. It's got, again, an awesome level of flow to it. It's got some great coloring. I like the contrast of Batman's cleaner colors and cleaner paints versus the more dirtier paints applied to Joker here. I think the first time I laid my eyes on this statue was online. DC Collectibles had showed it at one of the recent conventions as an upcoming statue that they had in store. And I definitely wanted to add it to my collection the moment I saw it. It's got, again, a really awesome looking flow to it. I think it captures really exactly what both Batman and Joker personifies. Batman upholding the law and bringing justice to a criminal, and Joker just being crazy and out of control. And having him in the straitjacket was the best way to go too. They could have possibly even put him in the purple traditional Joker costume, but I think this makes better sense. I mean, really looking at it, it's one of those statues that can really play out a story by just simply looking at it. I can get from looking at the statue that Joker has broken out from Arkham Asylum and Batman has pursued him. I can get from the fact that there's dirt all over Joker that he's probably been fleeing for a long time. And I can get from the fact that there's blood splattered all over him that Joker probably has met someone along the way, and unfortunately that person had to run into the Joker. It's got, again, a great looking color palette to it. Joker's got the more dirtier, kind of dingy looking clothes, while Batman still stays pretty clean and pristine in his costume. I like the rusted nature of the Laff-Co rooftop. Again, everything about this statue works so well. But the only thing I would say as something to be cautionary about is the strap that runs out from one of Joker's sleeves. As you can probably see over the course of this review, and even now in final looks, that sleeve is very thin and could be susceptible to breaking. So just keep that in mind if you do manage to pick this one up for yourself. But I would say, if you're a fan of Batman, and you're a fan of Joker, and you're a fan of the two going head to head, what better statue to get than the Batman vs. Joker battle statue? Today we were having a look at the DC Collectibles. This was the Batman vs. Joker Laff-Co battle statue, which, by the way, is now currently available in comic book stores. If you are interested in adding this one to your collection, I really would recommend that if you are a fan of Joker and Batman. We're going to have a look at some more statue reviews in the next couple of videos, so stay tuned for that. If you haven't had a chance to hit that little subscribe button down below, make sure you do so. Like I said, we're going to have a look at some statues, we're going to have a look at some figures, a whole bunch of new stuff from DC Collectibles are coming your way, so hopefully keep an eye for that. Like I said, guys, as always, thanks for watching as you always do. I always like reading your comments down below. Always welcoming new subscribers to this channel, so if you're a new subscriber to the channel at the time that this video is on, let me know down below and I'll say hello. Hello, how are you? More videos, guys, will be coming your way. As always, thanks for watching as you always do. I'll see you next time.